How's it going, guys? Steve from Australian 4x4 Adventures, and I've always said I don't like rooftop tents. Not a fan of them, make your car too heavy, just getting up and down ladders. There's a whole bunch of reasons why I said that. It's just that they were never for me. I had one, like the old style ARB, like fold out tent sort of thing, on one ages ago. Rocks around heaps. It's just never liked it. Anyway, since I've done the camper, I kind of need a rooftop tent on there because it's about the only thing that's going to work on top of it, really. So, and the plan has always been to have a rooftop tent on top of there. If you haven't been following the build series, jump back into the channel, and there's a whole bunch of build series there. This is probably one of the last ones that's going to come out. Maybe one more just when it's all finished. But essentially, the camper itself is finished apart from suspension, and I have a rooftop tent now. So, still not sold, to be honest with you. Still not sold. Anyway, let's go have a look at what I got. So you would have seen then, I got the 23-0 rooftop tent. I didn't go for the inner spring mattress because I'm actually not a fan of them, to be honest with you. Caravans have got them and I actually don't like them. I prefer just a good thick foam mattress when it comes to this stuff. You want water, buddy? You want water? Here you go. Water. Alright, so you can see I've already put a solar panel on top of it. This is actually a house panel. So it's a 32 volt, 330 watt solar panel. It's 1600 long by 990 wide or something. That fits on there just nice. I was a little bit worried about gas struts being strong enough to be able to pick it up, but it seems fine. I made sure I did push it as far to the front of the tent, so the hinge side of the tent, to try and keep that pivot point with most of the weight on it, not the end you got to pick up. So I've tried to be smart about the way I do it, but who knows. Anyway, alright, before I even open it up, we'll go through some of the details on the outside, pros and cons. Okay, so one of the blaringly obvious ones, it comes with roof rails, and I actually quite like that. They're really strong and super handy for exactly this, because the solar is going to be the only sort of form of power input I've got when I'm out and about for the camper, so having a decent solar panel is critical for me. 4 great big stainless steel hinges all the way across. You see some of the cheaper ones only with 3 hinges. I'm sure they're perfectly fine, but to have 4 great big stainless steel hinges is always going to be a bonus. More hinges, more strength. It also means slightly more weight as well. I'm not sure if this is a pro or a con. Probably a con, actually. External gas struts. It's a potential to get damaged. Not so much in my situation because the rooftop tent sits in about 120 mil from either side of the camper, so the chances of it rubbing up against stuff are next to nil in my situation. But if it's on a car overhanging a roof rack, that's a point of something could get caught on that and potentially rip it off or damage it, or dust ingress, all that sort of stuff. Don't know, but that's a potential point of failure. The hinges, the locks on these things. So with the locks, I looked at the Modtop tents as well, and these are the exact same locks as far as I can tell. So they're not like an over center catch or anything else you get in some of the slightly more expensive tents. These are just like well, you'll see it in the footage I'm putting up now. like a little chamfered groove in the middle, which basically pulls down onto the bar and just locks it in that way. Pretty foolproof. There's not much that can really go wrong with that. I'm actually not a fan of the fact that it's not a key lock. It's just a certain size Allen key. So you can walk around with any Allen key, and that'd unlock pretty much anyone's tent if that's what you're so inclined to want to do in your life, and go open people's tents for some reason. I would have much preferred to see like an actual proper key lock. Less likely that someone's going to have a particular key to open it up. But just being pedantic on that one. It does have this sail track going all the way around, so you can mount extra things in there. I'm actually probably going to mount in here like a little shoe bag, so just like a little canvas bag. It's held out, so that way when I climb up and put my shoes in there, and it's permanently, not permanently, but it just sort of clips on and off. I'll figure out how I'm going to mount that eventually, but that's the plan for there. It looks nice. It's relatively low profile overall for height wise. Probably one of the negative parts is the weight. This thing's heavy. As is, it's about 110 kilo, which is a lot of weight. For most people's roof racks, that's automatically going to put you over your off-road weight capacity for what you're allowed to have on your roof rack. So keep that in mind. So you might need a lightweight one. This is a criticism party.
We're not criticising you.
This is a lifting party, and we'll feed you at the end of it. If you're good.
Oh, Jeremy, such effort.
So you're going to put them down the side of the trailer.
So we've put the shortest first. Should put the shortest first.
I was going to say, there's water dripping on my...
You put yourself against your
water dripping on my bloody crash.
Actually pull that bolt out.
Yeah, guys, you pull that also.
Put it. You're right up there.
Can I stand on the front of these, Steve?
Yeah. Not that bad.
Okay.
Right, so you should go flush with the back of the trailer for the scooches. Alright, another 5 inches. That was not 5 inches.
Blankets have got to be underneath.
Alright, so everyone, see if we can pick it up and move it towards the passenger side a little bit, try and center it up. And bring it to the back of the camper by about 2 inches.
Where the passenger sits in the trailer. I didn't see it.
No, laugh, they've got to go.
Which way we go? You don't want to wind the hole again?
Do we want to do the whole now?
There's a hole there.
Get some timber. Let's get some timber to sit under it.
Alright, get some timber. Bloody hell.
Thanks, mate.
Wet cover, come on!
Sorry.
Turns out he does have wood. Hardwood!
He's also got it on camera.
That's where all the strength is, isn't it? Yeah, you go.
So it should be on the outside rail. Very well, Tyler. That's one of those. How much you got?
No, right at the back. Right. Move that one down. It's probably stuck on the bottom end of the square.
So this, alright, passenger side is now winning.
I reckon it's stuck on the
Shane, what side's that?
We don't know.
The problem is we can't.
Lift this side up a bit so it goes not enough to get the bolts
It's a shit show. Which side do you get in on the car? The steering wheel, Shane.
Red bar. You better have some meat.
It's only got a one-seater.
Better be more to eat than my bloody chocolate rebel cake, right?
Alright guys, thank you. You can all go now.
Alright, see you guys now.
I want to see that.
Okay, so Christmas Eve got a little bit out of hand. We may have all had a couple of drinks. So anyway, tents up on the camper now. Opening the sucker up is actually super simple. So it's literally open up the hinge, a little bit of suction from the canvas. So the gas struts are still strong enough to push itself up. There's probably a little bit in it from the solar panel. Essentially this bungee cord gets pulled out of the way. That's essentially to help pull it back in together when you're packing it all away again. Little strap there, you can do. Oh, I wouldn't throw it over the top because then if it's up high enough, you're not going to be able to reach it. Essentially zips everywhere out. Inside, I already had this open, so this was all packed away. But essentially, these little spring bars are going to be in there. Into the end here. Pull this out. Hook her on. Right, and it's pretty much set up now. Like there's nothing else in theory that you've got to do to get in there and go to sleep. You don't even have to do this if you don't want to. This is just a nicety because it gives you the shade and somewhere for the rain won't hit the door. In reality, obviously you're going to have to open everything up. For me, that sort of means roll up the door so everything's out of the way so you can get in and out without having bloody doors hitting you and frustrating the hell out of you, because you know who wants to be crawling through a bloody door all the time. Alright, so the side doors or windows, because this does have side entry as well if you wanted to. So if you've got a 270 awning, you can't access it from the back, and you need to go in from the side, you can access this from the side. So you've got the solid material obviously on the outside. These ones will zip all the way down and out of the way, and then these ones can open up as well. So you can have this fully open, get in and out from that point. Same thing, because this is a bottom mount, I don't think you'd really have this as a side or a top. If your ladder is mounted here, that means that this is going to be either be falling over your ladder, or you're going to have it on the inside, then you're going to be crawling on it and potentially maybe rip the canvas down the track. I don't think side entries for rooftop tents are really a super feasible option. They're designed to come in through the back, which is sort of what you should be doing. But if you've got a 270 awning and it's on and it's up, you can't do it. So this is going to be your only way. It's kind of just one of the negatives of this style of thing. Partly my whole theory about not really liking rooftop tents a lot, because there's so many downsides to them. But there's also a couple of positives, which we are going to get to, I promise. So if I was going to this from side entry, I'll have to sort of roll it up like that, which is super quick, super easy. It's not really hard to do, but it's just another step to remember that you're going to have to do before you start crawling into your tent, so you don't accidentally pinch this, rip your canvas, have it over your step. Because if it's over your ladder, then you might not get a sure footing on the step, fall off. There's a whole bunch of reasons why. But I do like the fact that you can open it right up, and even with no mesh and everything else, it's great. So that side entry works from both sides, which is good. So that way, if you want to do it from driver's side, passenger side, you can access it whichever way you want, left, right, or back. Inside, so this has got what they call a what do they call it again? Light suppression technology canvas, something or other. Oh, let me check. Yeah, light suppression technology canvas, something or other. Basically, this means that it's super dark in here. So, because it's a couple of layers thick, this here in full daylight, if everything's zipped up, it is pitch black in here, which is awesome if you want to sleep in the morning, or if you're up in Queensland and it gets pretty light at 3 AM. This is fantastic for that aspect of it, so I'm pretty keen to try that part of it out. It does come with this roof pocket on top as well, which is just Velcro, which is quite handy because it means you can move it around, or if it gets dirty, or if you don't want it there, you can take it off, move it wherever you want. Obviously, downside is if you put too much weight in there, there's potential that could pull off, but you're talking a fair bit of weight there. Clear PVC one here, so that way iPad, phone, whatever, so you can be laying down and have that as a little movie night, either for yourself, for the kids, whatever suits your fancy on that one. I wouldn't be putting too much stuff in here when you're closing it up. It's purely for, I don't know, I'd suggest maybe a pair of socks and undies and just the small stuff. You're not going to get jumpers, t-shirts, all that sort of stuff in there because it's just going to be too thick, and they're not massive pockets. They're bits and bobs. You might store your phone up there, stuff like that. But it's super cool that it comes with it. There are little pockets on each side, one there and there. The entire tent is basically zippered on, so this zipper here goes all the way around to the top, and no, not the bottom. The bottom must be sail track. Yeah, so the bottom's not zippered, just the top part, so you can separate if you had to replace canvas, do whatever. And obviously the bottom just basically slides into a sail track, so easy to get in and out. On both sides also there's a little zipper on the side here, and that gives you basically side entry to the outside of the tent. So if you want to run a lead inside, you can run a 240 volt lead if you're running from an inverter. If you just want to run a 12 volt lead, any type of lead, I guess, you can do that for power access to get inside the tent in that regard. Kind of cool, it works well. Also leads into a little bit of a negative point. There's no power in here at all. There's no light, there's no USB point, there's no connection for it. It's pretty much, you have to bring your own in, and that's it. I would have thought for the price of the tent, you might have got at least a little LED light up there. That would have been nice, but sadly not. So anyway, I'm probably going to look at putting a light and a USB point in, but I'm not going to use those. I'm probably going to drill a hole in the bottom of the tent, a little grommet on there, run the lead in so it's more of a permanent fixture, would be my way of doing it. Yeah, that's what I reckon. So, mattress is actually not bad. So I think it's a 75mm high density foam mattress. There's also a condensation mat underneath there. I think it's about 25mm. So you're looking at close to 100mm thickness in your for mattress to sleep on. I haven't actually slept on it yet because it's just sitting on these trestles here, and I'm not overly confident to get into it until it's actually mounted to something solid. Pretty much. So I can't give you an idea on the comfort level of that and whatnot. I have laid in it just to make sure I actually fit. Being that the unit's like 2300 long, I'm only 194 or 192 centimeters. There's tons of room for someone of my height. So I'm 6'4", tons of room in here for that. Same for the width. I would quite easily get me, the wife, and one kid in here. Probably wouldn't have Piper because she's a bit young. No, I'd roll over and squash her. Toby though, bloody hell, he's just gonna sleep a long ways. I can see it now. I'm gonna crawl in here and he's just gonna be sleeping across the bed. Alright, sleeping in the car. That is mostly it. I feel like I'm going to criticise a little bit more at the moment. Pockets down here to me seem a little bit irrelevant, considering I reckon 90% of people are going to have your head up here, which means you're going to have to reach down, put stuff in a pocket down here. I would have loved to have seen a little pocket, just even a tiny one, just big enough for a phone, wallet, something like that, integrated in up on the head end of the tent. I think it's just a little bit more user-friendly and useful, and probably could be slightly better thought out in that regard. But it is what it is. This strap here was with the tent. I've had to shorten it to make it a bit tighter. I'm presuming this is where it goes. I actually don't know, but this is where I'm putting it anyway. There was two little eyelet clips on both sides. I've just clipped it to there to help try and pull that canvas in when it's getting packed up. It just helps so there's not as much tucking from the sides to pack it up. So one other little integration into the tent which I thought was cool. So some of these have a separate pole. This one is actually integrated into the side here. So it's on a little ball on the end there, so it locks it in. Pretty much pull this out, twist it out, push her up, tighten it. There's a little Velcro clip up there to hold it in place. That essentially stops the roof from being able to be pushed down, pulled down, or blown down. It's just a little safety thing. So me putting a bigger solar panel up there, this makes me feel just a little bit better about it, knowing that it's not going to fall down on me in the middle of the night. Okay. A couple of other things to keep in mind that for a $4,000 tent, you kind of expect a certain level of quality out of it. So I am being fairly picky here. Underneath the mattress, so if I pull this back a bit, if I show you this, hopefully it comes up on camera, but that essentially right there is daylight. So if I put my hand under that, that's a potential point for ingress for water, for dust and everything else onto the bottom side of the mattress, which if you don't pay attention to that, it gets super dirty, gets wet, mold. There's a whole bunch of stuff that could happen there. So if that's something that you're concerned about, it's probably worth taking the mattress out, doing exactly this. Maybe just put a little bit of silicone on there and just seal it up so it's 100% done. You thought, to be honest with you, I thought they probably would have put some silicone on it first, but guess not. Other little details of, I'm probably going to put this as feedback to these guys. How it was packed. So there was all stuff inside this, all the brackets for the roof rails themselves, the ladder, everything else was sort of inside the tent, squished down, and it was closed in on that. Fully understand why, because it's obviously it's all in one package, it's all together, less transport cost because it's one item. What that's done though, it's going to be really hard to show in the video here, but that's actually dented all of the roof. This is like a polystyrene foam, so you can push into it and it'll dent, but it's left dents and indentations all the way along the roof where they all were, which I think is really disappointing, to be honest with you. Well, excuse that sunlight. Because I'm literally going to be laying there looking at that at night. Granted it's going to be dark, so I'm probably not going to see all of it, but that's super annoying that that even happens, because it's basically a brand new product that's damaged, and I'm fairly sure that'd be a relatively common occurrence with the way they're packed. So that's another thing to look at. I don't know how fussy you're going to be. I'm not worried about replacing that, but it's just if I had a choice, I wouldn't be putting stuff inside it like that to cause a dent like that. And it's the entire way along. It's several there. It's not nice. I've pulled the mattress out. I've drilled a hole in that back corner for the wire to come through, which is over there. So it basically just comes through the floor. I've siliconed that hole up. So yeah, two reasons. I was going to use a grommet. There wasn't enough room underneath to get the grommet in there. Basically pull the wire through, center it, pump it full of silicone, let it set, and that acts as its own grommet, stops the wire from touching the metal and potentially rubbing through down the track. So that's sort of my mitigation for that. It does just run along the side there, which would be basically underneath the mattress. And then I've got my little flat USB point here, so that essentially slides open, and then a USB point to there. I don't know how that's going to go overall, considering it's going to stick out and the mattress is right here. I might look at seeing if I can get like a little 90-degree version of a USB, so it sort of doesn't stick straight into the mattress. I don't know, that's about the best I can come up with at the moment. Also, while I was in here, like before and I mentioned, I went through and I siliconed up all those corners, so that way there's no gaps anywhere coming through from there. Actually, I was thinking about, I actually don't know if they're meant to be there or not. Oh, that's really bright. Turn that off. As I come down from the ladder, I was thinking maybe they're there if like you get condensation inside, it's got somewhere for water to drain out. Maybe that's sort of thinking might be the thing. But if that was the case and there's that much water where it can actually drain out, I think you got bigger issues overall. So I've still siliconed them up because I don't want dust and stuff getting to the bottom side of the condensation mat, which is exactly what the condensation mat is for, to capture the condensation. I don't know. Maybe I'll talk to 230 and see if they can let me know whether that's just the way it is or whether it's there for a reason. Don't know. Anyway, so I'm just going to chuck all the mattress and condensation mat back up in there, get a sheet on, and that's done upstairs pretty much. full disclosure, so 230 and Quick As 4x4 were basically involved with helping me get one of these. Aaron from Quick As, top guy, love everything he does. If you're after anything camping related, go see Aaron there. He does sell the 230 stuff as well, and obviously 230 have helped. It wasn't donated. It's a $4,000 tent. I paid $2,000 for it, so I got half price. I don't think I've actually been very nice to it. Even though they gave me a hell of a discount, I can't lie. Like they are the issues with the tent so far. I can't give you a review on what it's like long term and comfort wise because I haven't used it yet. I don't know. That will be coming up very soon in the video. Not so much the use part, but the mounting part. I'll be putting that on soon, and then we'll go from there. We're also going to explain how you have to mount these things in locations to make the ladders work. Otherwise, you just can't do it. So there's other issues to go with that as well. So there's so many issues with rooftop tents. I'll tell you what, a swag is so much easier. Overall, I think it's not a bad rooftop tent. I think for $4,000 though, it could be better. Have a light inside, some sort of USB, maybe deliver it not damaged, and no, the door issues, it's a minor one. That's a super small design thing. Most rooftop tents are the same. I know of one that's side mounted and I quite like it, but this one was an opportunity that I had. It's a budget build. I was trying to keep the budget under control, and if it meant I could get a slight discount on one, then I kind of took it. So that's what it is. Yeah. Anyway, so hopefully Aaron and 230 aren't too angry at me for making this video. Sorry guys if you are, but you know, always honest. I told you that from the start. Alright, so just following on with the rooftop tent, I've been away for a couple of days now and I've actually got the opportunity to use it properly, which is kind of cool. So some of the negatives that I thought were negatives have flipped ever so slightly. Not so much flipped, but I've just got some other positives to be honest with you. Slept in it for 2 nights now, and it is comfy as hell in there. Actually really good. It was a really good night's sleep, so I'm impressed with how comfortable it was. The ventilation in there is primo, I reckon. So, got a bit hot, zipped the window down an extra 100mm, nice breeze came through, got a bit cold, zipped it up a bit. It was actually really good for controlling ventilation that way, so happy with that. My thoughts on the door being sort of like a dog flap still not a fan of that. Having to crawl through it like you're a little dog going through a dog flap. Nah, it still doesn't do it for me overall, but other than that, it's not bad. Could be better though. We're pretty much good to go with the whole camper. Cool, so thanks for watching. Next episode is going to be basically the first trip out of this thing, and I'm probably going to do a bit of a walk through it at the same time. So don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you next week.